20 years ago, during a freezing winter day, I gave a cold, hungry girl $30 I earned from my first job. To me, it was a small gesture, a fleeting moment of kindness in my otherwise busy life. Today, she reappeared at my doorstep, and what she did next made my face turn pale. Her unexpected actions left me trembling, racing to make sense of her intentions. I was just beginning to remember the past when Kendra, the girl I helped 2 decades ago, suddenly appeared at my door with 3 formidable-looking men. My heart skipped a beat. She had grown up, but I recognized those dark brown eyes instantly. Anxiety welled up inside me as I noticed the somber expressions of the men accompanying her. They were clearly not here for a friendly visit. Without a greeting or explanation, they insisted I go with them. One of the men, taller and more stern-looking than the others, stepped forward saying, "We need you to come with us now." My protests were met with silence. They surrounded me, effectively cutting off any escape routes. The gravity of the situation began to sink in, and I hesitated before finally nodding in reluctant agreement. My mind raced, struggling to comprehend their intentions. Why had Kendra, after all these years, appeared with these intimidating strangers? Thoughts of what they could possibly want from me swirled chaotically. Each passing second felt like an eternity. I glanced at Kendra, desperate for some form of reassurance or explanation, but she remained expressionless. The air was thick with tension, and I felt utterly powerless. I noticed the hardened expressions of the men, recognizing quickly that resistance was futile. Their faces were etched with determination, clearly indicating that they were prepared for any resistance. The tallest of the 3 men placed a firm hand on my shoulder, guiding me toward the street. It became painfully clear that my best choice was to comply and hope for an explanation later. Running would only make things worse. They led me to a sleek, black SUV parked nearby. The vehicle's tinted windows gave it an air of secrecy and foreboding. As the door opened, I hesitated momentarily, but a gentle push from behind nudged me forward. I slid into the plush leather seat, the coldness of the material contrasting with the warmth inside the car. The men filed in around me, their silence unnerving. In the vehicle, Kendra remained silent, only glancing at me occasionally. Her eyes conveyed a mix of emotions, determination, perhaps a hint of sadness, but definitely no trace of joy. The silence was deafening, making the tension even more palpable. I wanted to ask her a million questions, but the inexplicable circumstances held my tongue. Her furtive glances were the only communication I had to read. The scenery outside blended into a blur of greens and grays, offering no clues to our destination. Trees, buildings, and open fields zipped past, all morphing into one unrecognizable smear through the tinted windows. I leaned forward, trying to get a better view, but the effort was futile. The constant motion and lack of familiar landmarks left me disoriented and anxious about where we might be headed. One of the men occasionally checked a GPS device, keeping our route a secret. His silence only added to the mystique of our journey. I strained to hear any spoken directions, but the car remained eerily quiet. Every glimpse at the GPS was brief, almost as if they were deliberately avoiding my detection. The sense of being completely in the dark gnawed at my nerves. Questions flooded my mind, and the silence became unbearable. I turned to Kendra, hoping she would break the tension. "Kendra, what's going on?" I asked, my voice trembling. She shook her head slightly, signaling I needed to wait. The men remained stone-faced, offering no explanations. The oppressive silence enveloped me, making the unknown journey feel even longer and more mysterious. I tried to engage Kendra in conversation, but she merely shook her head, indicating I needed to wait. The silence stretched on, thick and impenetrable. I couldn't fathom why she wouldn't say anything. My mind raced with a flurry of questions, but the cold, unspoken agreement to stay quiet left me grappling with a multitude of unconfirmed fears. Her aura of authority was unsettling, yet intriguing. Each silent command she gave to the men was met with immediate compliance. There was something commanding about her demeanor that not only puzzled me, but also made me curious. How had the timid girl I once knew transformed into this poised woman who held such sway over these men? It was a mystery I was eager to unravel. After what felt like hours, we arrived at an unfamiliar, remote location, a sprawling estate hidden from prying eyes. The massive iron gates and high walls suggested importance and perhaps secrecy. My curiosity piqued as I wondered what kind of place this was and why Kendra had brought me here. The trip's sheer length had only served to deepen the enigma surrounding this unexpected journey. The men escorted me out of the SUV and led me through a heavily secured gate. I couldn't help but notice the security cameras tracking our every move. As we passed through, various security measures clicked into place, safeguarding the estate from any intrusions. It struck me that whatever was going on here was highly confidential. The air tingled with a mixture of apprehension and intense curiosity. Inside, the air was thick with anticipation. Every step I took seemed to resonate with a sense of looming revelation. The men stayed close, but their silence continued. I felt the weight of my unanswered questions pressing down on me. What awaited me inside this mysterious estate? The silence stretched on, but it only amplified the sense of urgency and mystery enveloping this place. I noticed a group of people gathered near the entrance, appearing to be involved in some form of construction or renovation. They worked diligently, their focus unwavering. The sight of scaffolding, tools, and building materials indicated significant ongoing work. As I glanced around, the scale of the project became apparent, heightening my curiosity about its purpose. Clearly, this was more than just a personal residence. Kendra gestured toward a modest guest house, signaling where I was to stay for the night. It stood apart from the main building, offering a semblance of privacy. Though modest in size, it had a welcoming air. Her silent direction left no room for questions. I entered, the door clicking shut behind me. My mind buzzed with 1,000 thoughts, each more perplexing than the last. As night fell, I pondered the day's events, trying to piece together the purpose of my abduction. The unknown stretched out before me like an unsolvable riddle. Who were these people, and why had they brought me here? The dim light of the guest house flickered, casting shadows that danced with my turbulent thoughts. Sleep felt like a distant dream as questions swirled in my mind. Noise from the construction site was constant, hinting at extensive work being done. The clanging of metal, the hum of machinery, and the occasional murmur of conversation seeped into my room. It was a reminder that even now, something monumental was unfolding just beyond my reach. The continuous activity suggested urgency, adding another layer to the mystery surrounding my abrupt relocation. A meal was brought to me, with a note simply stating, "All will be explained soon." The handwritten message was both reassuring and unsettling. As I ate, the words of the note echoed in my mind, filling me with a blend of anticipation and unease. What was it that they needed to explain? The promise of answers held me captive, making the wait almost unbearable. The note left me feeling both reassured and unsettled. On one hand, it promised answers to come. On the other, it hinted at something significant, yet unresolved. The thought of finally understanding the reason behind my abrupt abduction brought a sliver of comfort. Still, the uncertainty of what awaited me remained a looming presence. The meal tasted bland as my mind focused on the larger mystery ahead. My curiosity was piqued, knowing that Kendra held the key to this mystery. Why had she gone to such lengths to bring me here? Each question led to another, a never-ending labyrinth of intrigue and speculation. The note's promise played on a loop in my mind, igniting a desperate need for clarity. It was clear that Kendra's reappearance was not a coincidence. She had something crucial to share. Sleep was elusive as my mind raced through potential scenarios. I tossed and turned, replaying every moment since Kendra had shown up at my door. Each fleeting thought added another layer to the enigma. What was Kendra's plan, and why involve me? The unanswered questions swirled, keeping me awake. The night dragged on, filled with restless energy and a gnawing need for the truth. Dawn couldn't come soon enough. The next morning, Kendra appeared alone at my door, inviting me to join her for breakfast. Her presence, though familiar, felt utterly surreal. She offered a faint smile, a small gesture that seemed to hint at goodwill. I followed her to a quaint dining area set up with an array of breakfast foods. The aroma of coffee filled the air as we sat down, the unease from the previous day still lingering. Her demeanor had softened, but her silence from the previous day still hung in the air. She poured me a cup of coffee, her movements deliberate and calm. There was a gentleness now, a stark contrast to the tension of our earlier encounter. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that more lay beneath the surface. Our surroundings were peaceful, but the heavy weight of unanswered questions remained between us. Over waffles and coffee, she finally started opening up about her life after our brief encounter 20 years ago. She spoke of the hardships she faced, the people who had helped her, and the opportunities she seized. Her voice was steady, each word measured and deliberate. As she recounted her journey, I began to understand the depth of her experience. The girl I once knew had evolved into a resilient woman. Every word she spoke seemed to be carefully chosen, providing glimpses of her struggles and triumphs. She narrated her story with a sense of purpose, highlighting moments of growth and transformation. From living on the streets to establishing herself, her journey was nothing short of remarkable. Each anecdote painted a vivid picture of resilience and determination. It became clear that her success was hard-earned, built upon years of tenacity. The bond we shared through that small act of kindness seemed to resonate more now than ever. The $30 had been a lifeline for her, a gesture that gave her hope in a desperate time. As she spoke, that moment 20 years ago took on greater significance. It wasn't just about the money, it was about being seen and valued. Our connection felt renewed, deepened by the weight of her story. The men who had accompanied Kendra remained vigilant but distant, allowing us private moments to talk. They kept a respectful distance, their presence a quiet reminder of the complexity surrounding this reunion. These pockets of privacy gave us the space to delve deeper into our conversation. I felt a mixture of gratitude and curiosity, realizing the importance of this dialogue. It was a rare opportunity to bridge the gap between past and present. As we walked around the estate, she pointed out various projects in progress without elaborating their purpose. Each structure seemed significant, yet she offered no clues to their ultimate function. Her vague explanations only heightened my intrigue. As we strolled past workers and equipment, I noticed her command over the environment. The estate was full of activity, making it clear that Kendra's influence extended far beyond our shared history. My sense of unease mixed with admiration for how much she had achieved. The sprawling estate stood as a testament to her hard work and determination. Yet, questions nagged at the back of my mind. How had she managed to do all this? Who were the people she had on her side? Each structure we passed added to the intrigue, making me wonder just how deep her success ran. She explained how the past 2 decades had molded her into the person she was today. Her voice carried the weight of countless struggles and small victories. Listening closely, I began to see the timeline of her transformation. She spoke of mentors who guided her, opportunities that opened up, and the relentless determination that pushed her forward. Each milestone in her story was a stepping stone to her current success. Yet, despite her accomplishments, something emotional lingered in her voice, hinting at a deeper motivation. There was an undercurrent of emotion that she didn't address directly. The achievements were impressive, but they seemed to be driven by more than just ambition. A sense of purpose, perhaps a longing for something more, was evident. Her eyes, though filled with pride, held a glimmer of something profoundly personal and deeply rooted. An unexpected downpour forced us to seek refuge inside a warmly furnished library. As we rushed inside, soaked and breathless, the cozy interior provided a stark contrast to the cold rain outside. Shelves lined with books created an aura of wisdom and history. Kendra shook off the rain and led me to a pair of comfortable armchairs by a crackling fireplace. The intimate setting was perfect for more revelations. Kendra continued sharing stories of friends and mentors who had shaped her journey. She spoke affectionately of individuals who had believed in her when she had nothing. Each story was a testament to the power of human connection and support. As she reminisced, her face lit up with gratitude and warmth. These relationships had formed the bedrock of her resilience, each one leaving an indelible mark on her path to success. As she spoke, I couldn't help but wonder how my $30 had influenced her life. The small amount seemed insignificant at the time, yet it had clearly been pivotal. Was it a token of hope in a moment of despair? Kendra's stories painted a vivid picture of struggle and triumph, making me reflect on the ripples of our actions. Had my gesture been the spark she needed? Each revelation seemed to demand its own chapter, weaving a narrative rich with gratitude and purpose. The modest sum had resonated far beyond its monetary value. Her words were a mosaic of small acts of kindness and generous support from various people. This tapestry of aid created a remarkable story of survival and success. The more she revealed, the more I recognized the profound influence of those seemingly minor gestures. The connection between her present actions and our past encounter slowly began to take shape in my mind. As Kendra recounted her achievements, it became evident that the foundation of her success was built on a series of mindful decisions influenced by our connection. The estate, her projects, and her relentless drive stemmed from a desire to honor those moments of kindness she had received. It painted a picture of circular generosity. As the rain subsided, Kendra suggested we visit a nearby workshop where artisans were diligently crafting intricate pieces. She seemed eager to show me the labor of love taking place. We walked through the estate, passing blooming gardens and meticulously maintained paths. The sound of chisels and hammers greeted us as we approached the workshop, a place brimming with creativity and dedication. The air buzzed with the artisans' focused energy. It was clear that these projects held significant meaning, though she maintained an air of mystery about their ultimate purpose. Each artisan was engrossed in their work, contributing to a larger vision that seemed almost sacred. The details in each crafted piece spoke of precision and care. Kendra's pride in their work was palpable, but she offered no further hints. The purpose of these creations remained just beyond my grasp. The sheer scale of the work left me both amazed and bewildered. Workshops buzzed with life, filled with skilled artisans dedicated to their craft. I watched as they meticulously shaped wood, metal, and stone into intricate designs. The scope of this operation was beyond anything I could have imagined. It struck me that whatever Kendra was spearheading had layers of complexity and significance, each connecting to a larger hidden purpose. Her passion and dedication were evident in every detail. She guided me through different sections, pointing out unique features and explaining the techniques used by her team. Each project seemed to carry a piece of her soul, a testament to her relentless pursuit of excellence. Her voice lit up while discussing the artisan's skills, shining a light on her commitment to creating something extraordinary. It became clear that this wasn't just work for her, it was a lifelong mission. Through it all, she remained enigmatic about the final reveal, making each passing moment more suspenseful. Every corner of the estate hinted at something grand, yet she withheld the full picture. The workers' silence added to the mystery, their respectful nods and quiet focus making me more eager to uncover the truth. This secrecy seemed deliberate, a way to build anticipation and ensure that the eventual revelation would have maximum impact. Days passed, and I found myself increasingly involved in Kendra's world. Every day brought new insights and discoveries about her projects and the people working behind the scenes. My initial reservations melted away as I got to know her team, each person contributing their unique expertise toward a common goal. The more I learned, the deeper I was drawn into the intricate web of Kendra's vision. My curiosity was matched only by my growing admiration. The initial shock and confusion gave way to a profound sense of intrigue and respect. As I observed the activities around me, I realized the magnitude of Kendra's accomplishments. She had built something significant, not just in scale but in purpose. Her ability to lead and inspire others was remarkable. The more I saw, the more my questions about her past and the reasons for my involvement intensified. It was awe-inspiring to witness her journey. Her vision was grand, encompassing more than I could have anticipated. It wasn't just the physical structures that impressed me. It was the underlying purpose driving each project. She had created a network of opportunities, education, and support that reached far beyond the estate's walls. This wasn't merely a personal achievement. It was a movement aimed at making a tangible difference in the world. Her lofty ambitions cast a new light on her motivations. My presence in this unfolding narrative became both a puzzle piece and a mirror to the impact of our past encounter. As Kendra's plans took shape, I saw reflections of our brief interaction years ago. It became evident that my small act of kindness had rippled into something far greater. Being part of this journey felt like finding a purpose I never knew I had. I began to see myself as an integral part of her grand tapestry. Conversations with the workers revealed snippets of their admiration for Kendra. Yet they too remained tight-lipped about the project's culmination. They spoke highly of her leadership, dedication, and the personal sacrifices she had made. Each story added a layer to the complex portrait of who Kendra had become. Despite their admiration, they clearly respected her wish for secrecy, further deepening the intrigue. It was a testament to the loyalty and trust she had cultivated. The night before the big reveal, Kendra invited me to a quiet dinner under the stars. We sat at a beautifully set table in the open air, illuminated by soft fairy lights. Her composure was serene, a stark contrast to my buzzing curiosity. As we ate, she reassured me, "You'll find out everything tomorrow." Her calm demeanor made it easier to be patient, though the anticipation was nearly overwhelming. This intimate setting hinted at the significance of what was to come. Her composure was serene, a stark contrast to my buzzing curiosity. As we finished dinner, the promise of answers hung in the air. She urged me to trust the process, her calmness making the wait slightly more bearable. Every word she spoke seemed to hold weight, adding to the gravity of what lay ahead. The night sky above us was clear and endless, mirroring the open possibilities that tomorrow might bring. The anticipation was at its peak. She reassured me that my questions would soon be answered, urging me to trust the process. Her words, though calm and collected, carried an air of finality. "Trust me," she said softly. With no other choice, I nodded, swallowing my impatience. Each moment felt heavy with the weight of untold secrets, yet her demeanor compelled me to wait just a little longer. The promise of clarity hung tantalizingly in the air. A sense of impending closure and revelation filled the air. I could feel it in the crisp night breeze and hear it in the rustle of the leaves. Every fiber of my being was attuned to the anticipation, like a string pulled taut, about to snap. The journey we'd embarked upon seemed to be reaching its climax, and for the first time, I felt a flicker of peace amidst the uncertainty. As we toasted to the journey and the kindness that sparked it, the weight of the mystery seemed lighter, more bearable. The clink of our glasses resonated like a promise fulfilled. "To new beginnings," she said, her eyes meeting mine with a warmth that hinted at shared understanding. Though I still had countless questions, the companionship of that moment made the unknown feel less daunting, almost a shared adventure rather than a solitary puzzle. The anticipation had reached its peak. Every breath I took was laden with expectation, every heartbeat a countdown to the impending reveal. The night felt electric, charged with the promise of answers. As we finished our meal, Kendra's calm assurance gave me the strength to face whatever came next. The silence between us was no longer oppressive, but full of unspoken trust. Tomorrow would bring the clarity I so desperately sought. The next morning, with the sun rising on a cloudless sky, Kendra led me to the heart of the estate. The early light cast long shadows on the path, illuminating our way with an almost ethereal glow. The quiet stillness of the morning was a stark contrast to the whirlwind of thoughts in my mind. Kendra's steps were sure and purposeful, each one bringing us closer to the truth I had been waiting for. The renovations were unveiled in all their splendor, a state-of-the-art community center dedicated to empowering those in need. The glass doors opened to reveal a beautifully designed space, buzzing with activity. Children and adults alike were engaged in various programs, learning, creating, and growing together. It was a sanctuary of hope, brimming with opportunity. "This is what we've been working on," Kendra said, her voice filled with pride and emotion. Dreaming big, Kendra had created a sanctuary of hope and opportunity for the underserved. The vision was grand, the execution flawless. Each room echoed with the potential to transform lives, from classrooms equipped with the latest technology to workshops brimming with tools and materials. It was evident that Kendra's heart and soul were embedded in every corner of this place. The magnitude of her dream was now a tangible reality, offering new beginnings for many. Overwhelmed, I realized this was her way of saying thank you for the $30 I gave her 20 years ago. Emotion choked me as I watched people move through the space with a sense of purpose and joy. Kendra's gratitude had manifested into something much larger than I could have ever imagined. The small act of kindness had set off a ripple that culminated in this incredible initiative, touching countless lives. The depth of her gratitude had given birth to something magnificent and profound. It was more than just a project, it was a legacy of kindness and resilience. The realization struck me that my small gesture had been the catalyst for all that stood before me. Her dedication and hard work had transformed a moment of need into a beacon of hope for many. I felt an indescribable mix of pride, humility, and astonishment. The enormity of her gesture left me speechless, my heart full and my face pale from sheer disbelief and admiration. To think that a single act could ripple through time and space to create such profound change was humbling. As we stood there, surrounded by the fruition of her dreams, I felt deeply honored and grateful. This center was the embodiment of all that Kendra had achieved, a living testament to the power of compassion and determination. It turned out that Kendra wanted to keep Timothy away from his house until her people were ready for their secret renovation. This entire orchestrated event was all part of her plan to surprise me. The lengths she went to maintain the secrecy of this project were incredible. I stood in astonishment, marveling at how meticulously she had planned every detail to ensure her gesture remained a complete surprise. The community center was not just a building, it was a beacon for people seeking a new start. I watched as children played, adults engaged in discussions, and volunteers offered their time and skills. The atmosphere was vibrant and full of possibilities. This center represented a fresh beginning for so many, embodying the spirit of renewal and growth. It was a place where dreams could be nurtured and futures could be built. Kendra shared how each part of the center was designed to address specific needs she once faced. From the classrooms that offered education to the counseling rooms providing emotional support, every section had a purpose. This area, she said, pointing to a vocational training room, is for teaching skills that can lead to immediate employment. Her thoughtful planning was evident, reflecting the challenges she had overcome in her own journey. From education programs to vocational training, every detail mirrored her past struggles and future hopes. The center wasn't just offering services, it was creating pathways for people to improve their lives. Each program was a reflection of Kendra's own experiences, designed to bridge gaps she had once faced. Her vision was clear: to provide others with the tools and support that had been instrumental in her own transformation. Finally, Timothy understood the lengths Kendra had gone to in order to honor a simple act of kindness. Her dedication was far beyond what anyone could have anticipated. The center was a manifestation of her gratitude and commitment to giving back. "This is my way of paying it forward," she said quietly, looking around. The depth of her involvement made it clear that this was more than just a project. It was her life's mission. Their journey had brought them full circle, cementing a bond that had begun with just $30. Standing beside her, I felt a wave of emotion wash over me. Our lives had intersected in such an unexpected but profoundly impactful way. The connection we had was no longer just a memory. It was a living, breathing testament to the power of compassion. This moment encapsulated so much more than words could express. With the mystery revealed, Timothy's life felt enriched and profoundly changed. The community center wasn't just an achievement for Kendra, it was a revelation for me too. I realized that the small acts of kindness we sometimes overlook can have monumental impacts. Kendra's journey demonstrated the incredible potential within each of us to create positive change. Her story had added a new, deeply meaningful chapter to my own life. Kendra's story of transformation inspired him to see the larger impact of small acts of kindness. Her journey was a testament to resilience and the human spirit's capacity for change. As I listened to her, I couldn't help but reevaluate my own life and the choices I made. The realization that one small gesture could ripple through time and touch so many lives was both humbling and empowering. They stood together, watching the community center buzz with activity, symbolizing hope and new beginnings. The impact of the center was clear, as smiling faces and enthusiastic conversations filled the air. "Look at what we've done," Kendra said softly, her eyes filled with pride and gratitude. It was a moment of shared accomplishment and mutual respect. This space had become a sanctuary of dreams realized and potential fulfilled. The chapter closed with a sense of closure and gratitude, understanding how a moment of generosity can ripple across decades. The community center was a physical embodiment of that ripple, touching countless lives and providing endless opportunities. As I looked at Kendra, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride for her and the journey she had taken. The simple act of kindness from years ago had blossomed into something extraordinary, bringing our story to a fulfilling close.